Hi guys, my name is Hannah Valentine. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a pair of zipper flares. This project is super easy and it only requires like a handful of materials, and it's a pretty simple project, and I'm super excited to show you guys how to make these pants. Now you can totally upcycle a pair of pants that you already have that you kind of want to add a little bit of spice to, or you can go thrifting and, you know, buy a pair of pants that you want to DIY. So in regards to materials, you're obviously going to need a pair of pants. I thrifted this pair of Hollister pants, and what I really do recommend for this project is that you find a pair of pants that already kind of have a little bit of flare at the bottom, or even straight leg. I don't think this project will work for skinny jeans. Next, just pick a fabric that you want to be on the inside of the flare. I chose this floral vintage fabric. I think it's from the 70s or the 80s, and the little blue circles on the inside of the flowers match the jeans, so I thought this would just be a cute pattern to have on the inside of the flare. So in addition to obviously having the pattern that you want on the inside of the flare and the jeans, you're going to need a pin cushion for when you start sewing. I have a rotary cutter and a cutting mat, but if you have a pair of scissors, that works just as fine. You're going to need a measuring tape so you can measure the pieces whenever you start cutting. And of course, you are going to need zippers. So for my project, I got two 14-inch zippers from Joann's Fabrics. So whenever you guys go shopping for your own zippers, the length is going to be in the upper corner right here, if it'll focus. Yeah, there we go, 14 inches. So I got two 14-inch zippers. And when you go shopping for zippers, it might be a little overwhelming because they have so many different types of zippers. They have zippers for dresses, they have zippers for jackets, but basically a zipper is a zipper and you can pick any style you want. Here's just the style I went with. The only reason I chose blue is because I am working with blue denim. If you are working with black pants, make sure to get black zippers. If you're working with white pants, make sure to get white zippers, etc, etc. So in addition to all this that you're gonna need, I also have a sewing machine off camera. If you don't have a sewing machine, hand sewing is totally fine. It'll just take a lot longer, but this is essentially everything that you need to complete this project. Another thing I want to mention about the zippers, I did get 14-inch zippers, but you can literally make your flares as tall or as short as you want. All right, so to start off, when you lay your zipper down, that's how tall that your flare is going to be, because you know your flare is going to be as tall as your zipper. So like I said before, if you want it to be taller, go ahead and get a longer zipper. If you want it to be shorter, get a shorter zipper. All right, so what you are going to do next after you have the zippers out of the packaging, you are going to place the zipper directly on the bottom of the seam, not the bottom of the blue part. You're going to place the metal zipper in line with the bottom of the hem of the pants. And where the metal stops, not the fabric part, the metal, where the metal stops, you're going to put a mark so you know when to stop cutting. So I have a little mark right there. So what I'm going to do now is cut out the seam on this side of the pants. So the seam is completely gone up to the line where we cut where the zipper stopped. So now what we're going to do is we are first going to put the zipper in, and then we're going to cut the fabric. And we're going to put the fabric in behind the zipper so none of the seams show. So when we go to put the zipper in the pants, we're going to be putting the little square metal part at the top, and we're going to be putting the zipper at the bottom. So when you unzip it, it should be like an upside down V, right? So we want the upside down V. You don't want to sew it in this way on accident, because then it won't be a flare. When it's unzipped, the zipper should be at the top, and when it's zipped, the zipper should be at the bottom. All right, so here's the pant leg. Here's the zipper that we are going to need to sew in. So right now, the zipper is facing up. It is facing outward. Right now, I am working on the right pant leg. We're going to take the zipper and turn it upside down. And we're going to sew it like this. And when we sew this, we're going to make sure that this square is right where the seam stops. If it's too low, there will be a hole at the top of the zipper. And if it's too high, it just won't zip how you want it to zip. So you want it to stop right where the cut stops. All right, so I just pinned it all up. So whenever I sew it, whenever I sew a straight stitch, what I'm going to do is the zipper, it's going to look like this. So no seam is going to be showing, and then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. And I really hope I'm not being confusing with you guys. If at any time in this process you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I have notifications on my phone, so whenever someone comments on a YouTube video, I get notified. So if you guys have any questions, I will answer them immediately. You can also DM me on Instagram and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. My Instagram is @shopgosoda. I will also put it in the description. Double check that you are not sewing this side to this side. Hi guys, so we are currently at my sewing machine. I just wanted to remind you guys that you can use literally any color thread that you want because none of the seams are going to be visible from the outside of the pants. So you can use any color thread you want. Now I'm basically just going to be sewing the zipper that we pinned into the pants. Alright you guys, so now for this part, whenever you get to the end of the zipper, what you actually need to do is lift up the foot and unzip the zipper a little bit and then put the foot back down so you still get an even stitch and it won't be like warped because the zipper was there. So what you need to do for this next step is you're actually going to need to turn the pant leg inside out. You can see how there is a seam here that we sewed just now. We just finished this seam and we are going to replicate it on the other side. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to fold this on the inside and we're just going to sew it right on top, so we have two identical little flaps right here. Here it is all pinned up. Again, we have another flap on the inside just like we have a flap that we just sewed, and what I'm going to do now is sew this flap on this side. So same thing as before, you're going to want to unzip it a little bit just so you can get it stitched up by the bottom of the zippers and it's not warped. Here's what it should look like. It is still turned inside out, but there should be a flap and a flap. So there should be two flaps, and those basically hide the seams so you don't see them from the outside. And what we are going to do next is we are going to put in the panel, and this is my favorite part. It is so fun. So let me go ahead and show you guys how I do it. So we're going to turn the pant leg back right side out, and this is always fun to see how the zipper turned out. So as you can see, the seams are not visible from the outside. Here's a little close-up. The seams aren't visible from the outside because we put them on the inside. So now what we are going to do is we are going to unzip the zipper and we are going to open up the flare. And what we are going to do is we are going to measure the fabric that we are going to be sewing in here. So when you have the flare opened to however wide you want it to be, for this one, I think I want to do it about here. I'll have the flare about this wide. What you're going to do is you are going to measure how far this is. So for me, this is about 8 inches. So the bottom of the triangle is going to be 8 inches. So after you measure how wide you want the flare to be, you're just going to measure the height. So the height is about 13.5, 14 inches. Like I said, the zipper was 14 inches long. So I'm going to be cutting a rectangle that is about 9 by 15 inches long, and I'm just cutting it a little bit extra so there's enough room to cut, enough room to sew. So I'm just cutting a rectangle that is 9 by 15 inches. Alright, so once the rectangle is cut, what you're going to want to do is just hem one of the short sides because that is going to be the bottom of the flare, and you want the bottom of the flare to be hemmed. So I just finished the hem on this piece of fabric. So we're going to take the hemmed edge, put it at the bottom of course, and we're just going to turn it upside down, and we are just going to stick it in here just so we can measure. We're not going to be doing any pinning or sewing, we're just going to be tracing. Now that we have the fabric in here upside down, I'm just going to trace the triangle that we have laid right here, and the reason we put it upside down is so we don't get the pen marks on the fabric that is going to be showing. So once it is drawn, we are going to have a nice little triangle that we drew. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch from that line that we drew just so we have room to sew. So now we're turning the pants back inside out so we can sew in the panel that we just cut. So with the panel unzipped and inside out, we're going to be sewing this panel onto the flaps right here that already exist. So we're just going to be basically setting it on top and sewing onto the flaps that are already here. And since the pants are inside out, we're going to put the design with the inside out up because the pants are inside out. Alright, so here's what the finished flare ended up looking like. I am absolutely in love with the pattern, and as you can see, the color of the zipper mattered when we were shopping for zipper colors because the blue matches with the blue jeans, and if it would have been black or white, it would have stood out. And this is just like super duper cute. And of course you can zip it up and you can have like your regular pair of jeans, or of course you can unzip it and then you have the flare. And all you need to do for the other side is literally repeat the steps, and then you have a pair of pants with these adorable zipper flares. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little try on for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it if you did the tutorial. I would really love to see how your pants turned out. If you post about them on Instagram, please tag me. I really want to see them. Or you can just DM me how they turned out on Instagram. I'd really love to see them. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Love you guys. Bye.